Good morning, everyone. It's another frosty morning. Ooh, look at that white sheen everywhere. That's quite something. Mornings like that. There's Jake. There's Bo. Oh, beautiful. Oh, there's the moon up there. Hey, sun's just coming up over the mountain. Whoa, it's cold. Ooh, it's cold. We had my sister-in-law's son-in-law come over and cut us a whole bunch more wood. Yes, to be cut up for firewood. There goes Jake. He brings the firewood right in the house sometimes. There he goes. Oh, very happy. Oh, hi guys. Bet your feet are cold. I'm coming. Oh, I forgot my glasses. Good morning, girls. What's hanging around in there? Goes Sage. Oh yeah, everything's froze here. Froze. Good morning, chapter 14. Oh, there's an egg. Look at that. Chapter 14, part 2. What are we going to talk about today? One gets tired of the bad news, huh? Right. And then all the opinions about the bad news, huh? Yeah. Sometimes I think people don't know how to make up their own mind anymore about things. Oh. Ah! I left that bucket over there. Well, okay. This isn't going to work. Okay, let's see here. All right. I did forget something. Feet's a bit froze too. You ready, buddy? Easy. There you go. So excited. Oh, yeah. He can hardly hide it. Every day the same. Hi, guys. Don't matter what weather it is. Right? Doesn't matter. Oh, nice. Sometimes they are a little bit more particular than other times when they're doing their business in the stall. Like Sage has his corner, and he won't poop or pee anywhere else but in his corner, right? Yes, where's your... Okay, come here. You only get a little bit. You show fat. Huh? Not good for a older donkey to be overweight. Did you poop in it? Let me see. No. All right, there you go. Okay. Yeah, when it gets warm, you start working out here. You get nice and warm. Besides, the barn, if it's all locked up like this, though now I got the door open, is nice and cozy too. It's like 10 degrees, 15 degrees warmer in here than outside. chickens. See here. I guess I'll take this head. There's nothing out there for them to pick on right now. Well, there is. Not too much. Okay. Oh, I'm ahead of everyone today. Not talking as much. That's a good one. Yeah. I saw a good one this morning. Oh, first of all, I shared that on Facebook. This 93-year-old lady was singing a beautiful song. Made my day already. Yeah. Made my day already. It's always interesting to me on how when one has enough time in their hands, this and that, there is time to also create havoc. Yeah, I said misery loves company. And I found the best thing is to just take a step back and, okay, whatever, and kind of be done with it. As I said, unless there's children involved, I will never step back. There's no way, no. Or any other kind of thing where I have to say, there is so much stuff out there that if men did not want it, it wouldn't exist, okay? If the drug cartels and the sex trafficking, if there wasn't such a big market out there for it, it wouldn't exist. It's there because it makes so much money. Yeah. The sad thing I find, as I said, yeah, one could say, well, most people are happy out there, this and that, then why are these two industries so big? Why are they so big? Why do they make so much money? You see, it doesn't take a whole lot if you think a little bit on what's out there, what's happening with all that, right? And where the origins are from. This, and then you realize that if you just think a little bit for yourself, it is not all that hard to figure out where things started, why they keep going, why it's still out there. And so there it is. I saw one where some woman, she looked to be in her maybe late 50s, early 60s, and she's talking about her life where she lost her job, and then she lost her home, and then she ended up on the street, kind of going from house to house, friends, and sleeping on their couch, and got into drinking, and here's the thing, okay, and she said she was just drunk every day, going from house to house, didn't have anything. All right, so where'd you get the money for the drinking? I know that beer and wine and whiskey, whatever, it's not cheap. If you do it every day, all day long, it can't be cheap now, can it? So she's got to have at least, what, I'd say $400 or $500. And she was smoking too, so now you're looking at another $150 or so. So you're looking at like $650 that. All right. I'm assuming she had some money for food. All right, now, where did you get all that money? You see, this is why I'm not interested in people's sob stories out there. I really am not. I'm just not. It's not that I don't have compassion for her per se. Okay, I wish her life would have gone better. Maybe it would have if she would have turned to a church community. Maybe, I don't know. Well, people they go through things and they can't handle it. And have you ever noticed that people who have God in their life, people who really have God in their life, that make it a practice to read the Bible, make it a practice to continue to go to church. Have you ever noticed on how much stronger people like that are? On how they deal with the trials that come their way? Have you? And most of the time, they have, especially if you're part of the church community, they have the support of their church community too. You ever notice that? Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I've seen. It doesn't mean that Christians aren't also alcoholics or drug addicts or this or that. That's not. But all in all, they seem to be doing a lot better when certain things come their way and they have to deal with that. Right? Yes? Yeah, interesting? Yeah. Well, anyway. So, yeah, I saw one. A guy that was at Auschwitz. That was a Jewish concentration camp, or a German concentration camp for Jews, and probably one of the worst ones, except for maybe Bergen-Belsen. That was Bergen-Belsen, something like that, Belsen-Bergen, which was even worse. Yeah? But Auschwitz was pretty bad. And he said that he'd come to realize that there are two races out there. There are decent people and indecent people. Oh, yeah, I concur. Absolutely. 100%. Pretty amazing on how many per se survived. Many of them that don't know, after they were liberated, died of the starvation and then whatever else they went through after they were liberated. They didn't all make it either. Yeah. So decent people. Yeah. So there's two races out there: decent people and indecent people. I'm going with that. Sounds good to me. Yeah. So I think if people were to just think a little bit more for themselves and look at things and how they actually are, and that on how we are, how others are trying to coerce us into thinking a certain way. It's called brainwashing per se. Though brainwashing is something that, if you really go and check that out, that is it's a much more violent way. It's on how that is done. maybe there are different types of brainwashing. No. Again, on how people use words, on how to decide to use words, is again, someone tells you, well, we could use. No, go on. Yeah, okay. I gotta remember that tonight. Keep forgetting to take care of that book. Pick it up. And people just start to decide that a word is okay to be used for whatever. If you're somewhat like the media brainwashing. No, they're not. You're freely. You can choose what to listen to. Right? How one could define that brainwashing part is in cases like that is that your feelings decide. Your feelings on either how mad you are, again, whichever way, or how I have to take a step back on all this and think more clearly so you can teach. You teach more clarity out there. Decides how much of what you hear you will adhere to and that you will like because it goes with your own feelings. Right? Yes? Uh-huh. So, sadly, most people, unless it's done in a forceful, violent way, every day, consistently, you're going to get your stickers taken out in a couple of days, buddy. I got company coming for Thanksgiving. Then if you want to call it brainwashing, then you have to also admit that you're brainwashing yourself. You are. Right? And that's a pretty dumb thing to do, don't you think? Yeah. So stepping back, as I said, reflect before you react and really have a look at the whole situation and then rather go by just, well, this is how I feel and this fits my feeling. And then you're going with that. And then suddenly it's like, wow, how do I get out of this feeling now? You ever notice people too? They love feeding the negative feelings. They just do. And it's not about getting information. It isn't about getting information. It's about satisfying your own feelings. Your own point of view, your own, right? Yeah. Well, there are situations out there, that can't do this with these gloves. These gloves are so slippery. Where it's gone so far, per se, that it'll be very difficult for a change to happen. Okay? And only if we decide, as the people, as individuals, as families, okay, as a community, as a nation, in the whole world, to not do certain things. Like cussing and cursing. Why? Why do people need to have that kind of outlet of foul language in their life to describe something? Oh, well, maybe that may have been a part of to begin with, but it has turned into people use it for anything. Even when they're excited over something. Oh, right? Yeah. You see the escalation of everything? When it comes to the negative, there's no, there seems to be no end to the escalations. So that's one thing, to teach yourself. If you do not use foul language in your home and won't allow it, then your children automatically are going to be already taught in the right direction. Right? I find it funny when I hear, children hear the cuss words and the curse words, but they know they're not allowed to say them. This is like, oh, what a way to teach your child hypocrisy right there, right? Yeah. Yep. They have to wait until they're older. Yeah. I just heard that one recently. All you can do is look at the people again. All right, be dead. Yeah, so there is that one. And there are many other things. As I've said before, change is not going to happen, or pain and just things that shouldn't be happening, that one has to go through them, like senseless deaths, through some crazy person, this, that. It isn't just, we had 2 examples, one where it was a Christmas parade, another one where it was a concert with a disreputable entertainer who, dear me, why would anybody pay money to go see a guy like that? Right? Yes. And I also have to say, even though it has been a tradition in that town for so long, with everything that's going on out there, was it prudent to have that Christmas parade going on? Or should it have been maybe moved up or moved back a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, right? Just because on how close that town was to another thing everybody was watching and had an opinion about, and I don't know what, right? Right. So again, yeah, we can talk about it after the fact, and I think I do that a lot. That things are the way they are out there because if men didn't want it, it wouldn't exist. But they do. Yeah, there's freedom over safety per se. Yeah? Freedom to do whatever. Yeah. And then the consequences are such. The death of people ahead of their time. It's called a consequence. And a consequence of what? A consequence isn't something positive. A consequence can hit sooner or later. Sometimes it just depends on how much gets built up in negativity, and then finally it just comes to a head, right? Pops like a pimple. Yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah. So Number one, again, I'd like to see the Ten Commandments, the Lord's Prayer, everywhere. Wouldn't that be something if before every news before the news start this net, they would have to pray first? Huh? So that they can maybe build up more of a conscience to give the truth, or just the facts, right? Just the facts, right? Yes? Yeah. Wouldn't that be something if one could train them newscasters and media outlets, whoever's doing whatever, that they'd have to pray, and we want to see it too. But pray with them, right? Wow, what do you think that would do? That would be interesting, huh? You think? What do you think? How many of them would make a big hullabaloo because they have to say a prayer, huh? Like the Lord's Prayer. What's in the Lord's Prayer that's offensive in any way? Or that one couldn't say unless one's guilty of something that then kind of hurts them when you have to say that prayer. But just think, so why can't they do that? But think the hullabaloo, having to pray before, to retrain their conscience, huh? Or just bring it up to the surface. Wouldn't that be interesting? A good thing, a good positive thing. And I tell you, people would make a hullabaloo out there about it. Oh my gosh, we would hear it from the North Pole to the South Pole. Right? Yes? Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of how I think. How does that all work for people out there? Yeah. Well, anyway, there it is. Last thing on that one. So we got Thanksgiving coming up. Politicians seem to, when whoever is in power they've got some kind of competition going on who's going to make Thanksgiving dinner cheaper than do you know how much food gets thrown out after Thanksgiving? I have no doubt it was last year the same thing. This year it'll be the same thing again. Oh, not at our house. That's not happening here. But when I put the list together, when I have everyone bring a little something, it's distributed among everyone who shows up. If you're just two people at home, you won't need a 50-pound turkey now, do you? Oh, 50 pounds. Who has a 50-pound turkey? Exactly. Yeah, some people have 25 pounds times 2. Yeah. Anywho, so you think about, okay, so how much will a Thanksgiving dinner cost if you are conservative with what you buy, right? It doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg, and it shouldn't be impossible for anyone out there to have a small Thanksgiving dinner. Yes? Where you just, how many people overeat on Thanksgiving? Then feel sick at home. Well, because it's so good. Well, I'm just saying. I found one thing about Thanksgiving I liked last year and I like it this year, where a friend of mine in town says thank you for one thing every day, right? I just do it with her. That kind of, in the spirit of Thanksgiving. Yeah. And then the other thing, too, on how, yeah, Thanksgiving's coming up, and who doesn't have one of them or this in the family? How about not concentrating on that, right? How about not? And just, if one has a disagreeable person there, well, they become disagreeable and more disagreeable when one doesn't keep them occupied with something. So the best thing is, have a disagreeable person. As soon as you hear something, hey, can you come peel the potatoes? Can you come and start making the biscuits? Hey, I need some help over here. Yeah. Well, if they catch on to, they'll start to behave better. I guarantee you. Okay, well, anyway. It's worth a try, isn't it? Yeah. Instead of chapter 14, part 2. How to think for yourself. Yep. I can just see that certain things out there, when it comes to certain things, right? People latch on to it and concentrate on that. I have all kinds of fun things ready for the children to do when they're here. I can't wait for we'll be all upstairs, and our upstairs is all open, so it's like the Waltons, right? And then at night, kids running around, jumping up from one bed to the next. I love that. One can have wonderful conversations with little ones when you're get ready for bed, right? Huh? Yeah, giggle fest. Right, Maddie? Yeah. Yes. Grandma and the kids giggle until the parents have to step in. It's time to sleep. It's midnight. Well, anyway. So here we are. I want to wish everyone a happy, merry Thanksgiving. Time to start thinking for ourselves again a little more, I think. Wouldn't hurt. And I think it's perfectly fine to step back from people that, regroup, that just are negative. Doesn't matter what you have to say. Right, Maddie? Yeah. There. Doesn't mean we have to let them walk all over us. But the better we are informed over certain things, really come down to the truth. You know what? Sometimes just saying, okay, I'll pray about that. I'll get back to you later. Ends a conversation that might not be that favorable. Okay. Well, there we go. God's love and blessings always. And we'll talk to y'all another time. Chapter 14, part 2. Think for yourself.